what are some of the the major obstacles you've had to overcome to kind of get to this current state of your brand?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of obstacles, and I've had to receive a lot of pep talks from people who really care about me and want to see me succeed in order for me to keep going. One obstacle is when trying to find a co-packing partner, how they didn't understand our passion for wanting to make uh, the next generation of cheese devs and make it plant-based and allergen friendly, and they wanted to use the old conventional ways of how they make products, and they actually told us that they don't feel like our product would succeed or our business would succeed and we should give up. That was a really hard one. The food industry is very male dominated, so like when it comes to having conversations with people, whether it's a buyer or someone to partner with, whether it can be an age, race, or your sex, in this very male dominated, old male dominated like industry, it can be definitely an obstacle. And I sometimes have to get my significant partner, Eric, on calls with me because, like, for some reason, it seems like if they talk to me, they think I don't know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
But if my significant other says the same thing or is a little more assertive, then they respect him more.
Yeah, so thanks so much for joining me to share your story. I'm really excited to hear about it and the evolution of your company, because I know you started with one name and then you've really evolved the brand, and it's really beautiful. And so I can't wait to kind of hear about it. So tell me about Eat Unrestricted and Dianna King.
Yeah, so we started a couple of years ago. So actually, I've been working on this recipe for the product that we made for a while, since 2017, actually. I transitioned into veganism during that time, and I found it very inconvenient due to not only the choices, there was not as many choices as we have now, but the taste. I'm from the South, and there's a particular taste we like to have in our food. And for the product that I was trying, it was not satisfying the cravings that I had. So I started veganizing my favorite meals. I started hosting community dinners, and I got a lot of feedback from my peers about how they felt that this is needed in the market. And after getting that feedback, we actually started like considering putting it into the market. We did just a little bit of customer discovery. I talked to peers. I was trying to get more informed about the industry. And yeah, early to 2021, we really like did a hard launch, and we got our products into Nuts and Berries. That was our first retail location.
Yay.
So it's amazing how this is like kind of a full circle moment, and it's great to be in the presence of you, and like reappreciate everything you've done
Well,
for
that's
not only
amazing.
us but the community.
Absolutely. And so, one of the things that I'm trying to do with this series is kind of inspire the next generation of small independent food makers and artists and people in our community. And like I'm really excited to kind of launch it this month, because I feel like there's such a need in the natural products industry for diversity. Um,
Yeah.
we need that in the natural products industry. And so tell me about kind of how you came up with the branding of your company, the Unrestricted, and then how you sort of decided about the different uh, variations of the kind of vegan cheese sauce, like how you picked your flavor.
Of course, yeah, those are great questions. So when it comes to our branding, this is our third revision. We actually went through quite a few revisions because as we kept doing customer discoveries, we were going to farmers markets, we were getting the feedback from customers and actually implementing those feedback into our changes for the brand. So it took 3 revisions, and we actually went through a company, Veritiv, with Vine, and they did an amazing job with our current logo. And our labeling, and I would highly recommend them. They are amazing to work with. When it comes to the different flavors, we really like not only got feedback from customers, but I just really envisioned like the younger version of me when I was trying to transition. What were the flavors I would really find fascinating to have as an option when I was going shopping? I really like to cook. So I like am in the culinary space, or I'm around friends that are chefs and stuff, and I would see what they would make. And they have influenced like our flavors when it comes to like our cheddar cheese dips. And there's going to be a lot more flavors that are going to be hopefully announced in the near future that is going to be because of these conversations with people in the culinary arts, but also with our customer.
So what is your favorite recipe out of all the recipes that you make, that you can share with the audience? And maybe we can even make it and demo some out at Nuts and Berries.
So that's a great question. There's quite a few. So if you're looking for, like, I just discovered a recipe when it comes to with the dessert, how you can use our cheese dip for dessert.
Ooh.
If you like apple turnovers or peach turnovers, you can actually have it with our cheese. And it's kind of inspired by how the French would eat their cheese in jelly. So it's a very savory yet sweet combination, and it's really good when it comes like as far as a dessert option that you can use our cheese for. That's a really good one. Another recipe that I like is the mushroom melt. It was actually inspired and first created like with our product by a chef at Parlor Din, and it's personally a favorite. So whenever I'm trying to like impress my guests, or I have an event, or even when it's like a culinary kind of event and people are asking for recommendations, I like to bring that up. And then if you're like wanting more of a snack, actually using cooked popcorn and mixing the cheese sauce into it.
Oh yeah.
That's a nice snack to
That
have.
sounds great. That sounds great. I love your passion. And so what are some of the like the major obstacles you've had to overcome to kind of get to this current state of your brand?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of obstacles, and I've had to receive a lot of pep talks from people who really care about me and want to see me succeed in order for me to keep going. One obstacle is when trying to find a co-packing partner, how they didn't understand our passion for wanting to make the next generation of cheese dips and make it plant-based and allergen friendly, and they wanted to use the old conventional ways of how they make products, and they actually told us that they don't feel like our product would succeed or our business would succeed and we should give up. That was a really hard one. The food industry is very male dominated, so like when it comes to having conversations with people, whether it's a buyer or someone to partner with, whether it can be an age, race, or your sex, in this very male dominated, old male dominated like industry, it can be definitely an obstacle. And I sometimes have to get my significant partner, Eric, on calls with me because, like, for some reason, it seems like if they talk to me, they think I don't know what I'm talking about. But if my significant other says the same thing or is a little more assertive, then they respect him more.
Well, girl, we have got a partner together because I also recognize that struggle. I think we're in this kind of 75-25% male to female power space in our country, and we need to change that. So we need
exactly. Yes. So
how do you deal with that fear and doubt? Like, what do you do to get yourself in a space that you're like, okay, I know that this is scary, or I know, we've dealt with a lot of fear over the past couple of years as small business owners and as humans. How do you, like, what is one or two things that you do to kind of, show up every day and really deal with, the things that are fears and doubts and as a small business owner?
Yeah, it really depends. When it comes to like those kind of conversations that I mentioned before, it really helps that I have a partner that can help me and support me when I need it when it comes to that kind of situation. Recentering myself, I have had to have the conversation with myself that it's okay to take breaks as long as you don't give up. Take time to make sure that you recenter yourself, because the energy you're putting out, you want it to come back in. So you don't want to give out negative energy because of some situation that's irrelevant to what you're dealing with right now, to like, you know, create an endless cycle of like just negative energy circulating. Um, and support groups. I found a lot of support groups here in Atlanta. It took time, um, and they have really been helpful. And then also being okay with taking a slower route instead of the fast route. We're not trying to grow fast. We're not trying to be like, these other companies that are just really focused on profit. We put people over profit, and we want to slowly grow healthily so that we can, put the quality and the people and, the integrity of our brand first before we like take into consideration other things that are like really not great for business, like, you know, um, focusing on profits and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think that that's really, really important to, one of the things I like about working with small business owners is one, I get to talk to you, right? Like you're the heart and soul behind your product. And I think that we put energy into the food that we make. And I think that energy is passed on to the people that consume that food. And if you're eating something that someone has made out of love and out of passion, it really it nourishes your soul as much as it does your body. And so let's talk about kind of your ingredients for a minute. One of the things that Nuts and Berries prides ourselves on is being a company that can firmly say we don't sell GMOs. There's going to be a lot of talk coming days, especially in the plant space. There are a lot of synthetic ingredients coming into the plant-based market that are animal free, and or that's the claim that they're making. And so talk to me about kind of like your ingredient standards. And I don't want to know your secret recipe. I know that everybody has their secret things, but like talk to me about your standards and why they're important to you and to your community.
Yeah, so we pride ourselves in making sure that the products or the ingredients that we get to create our product is as clean as possible. When it comes to like, the salts or the potato like flakes and stuff like that that we use, it's really important for us to make sure that they're not adding any additives that are not needed, and we've had to like pay more for that. It is also important for us to, like, as we mentioned before, be as allergy friendly as possible. So we don't use any soy. We're naturally gluten free. We are also dairy free, and we just try to make it, and we don't use any cashews or nuts either. Like, it's not like a completely bad thing, but when it comes to our initiative of trying to be as allergen friendly as possible, nuts are one of the most top allergens for people in the US.
Yeah.
So um, we try to like differentiate ourselves from other cheese brands by doing those kind of things. So, it's not only differentiating ourselves by who are the people making the product and what do those people look like, but we also try to make sure that we're using the best quality of ingredients when it comes to making our product.
Yeah. Have you had any issues? A lot of our small producers have had major issues during COVID with supply chain breaking. And have you ever had to compromise, or is there any place where you're like, I'm definitely not going to compromise here? I know we've had some price increases from some of our individual smaller business. Well, quite frankly, from almost every business that we do business with, they've increased their prices. But some of the increase in price has more to do with I'm not going to compromise on my ingredients. And this is the ingredient I use because of the quality of it. Have you had any of those challenges that you've had to kind of overcome? And have you had any, like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so we definitely had to do a bit of an increase on our product because we didn't want to sacrifice the quality of our ingredients. And also because of the way we're doing it right now is so labor intensive. That's why we're trying to look for like partners like co-packers to help us with reducing the cost of our product. Because right now we have identified that it's an issue that we want to resolve because we do want our product to be accessible. So yeah, we definitely have, not sacrificed at all with our ingredients. Like I even worked with a food scientist to try to find some other alternatives that we could use. But at the end, of that session with her, we just came to an agreement that what we're using right now is going to probably be the best. And she made some recommendations, but at the same time, we wanted to make sure that the quality of our products still stayed the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So, changing directions a little bit in terms of what inspires you every day. Like, do you have like, what's your biggest inspiration on your journey? And do you have any like mentors that have helped you along the way that you really kind of look to when you need to kind of get recharged?
Yeah, so to answer your first question, inspiration for me is definitely my significant partner. He's always there to make sure that I'm okay, not only physically but mentally and spiritually. So couldn't have gotten this far without him. An inspiration for me too is like meeting other food makers and seeing what they're going through and their willingness to help and pay it forward. And also working with partners like you, like it's, I don't take that for granted. It's really nice and refreshing to work with, a buyer like from Nuts and Berries compared to other places. Um, when it comes to like mentors, we definitely are very appreciative of some that are in Atlanta. Aubrey from Sauce. He's a great person. I just got done talking to him today. He's been very resourceful. There's also Lou and Lisa. They're great mentors. If they see this video, they know who they are. But if they don't, then But yeah, I have a lot of mentors, Rahul, Peralt, and if you want more information about these people, I can definitely forward it to you. But the more I think about it, the more people come to mind, and I can't even count on like both of my hands how many people have been great mentors for us. So it's great. It's definitely something I recommend for anyone starting a business. Definitely find the right mentors, and definitely don't try to rush when it comes to that. Mentors are kind of like people that are potentially life partners, and you want to be very selective of who you have around you because that can influence the trajectory of your business and also your life.
Yes, absolutely. And that was one of the things that I was going to ask you about. Part of what I'm trying to do with this series is really develop a resource for kind of the next generation of food makers coming into the industry, and to on the same hand, develop a kind of a group of resources for all of my partners like you that are struggling with things like co-packing and capital funding, raising capital, and all the way down to product and label design. Because I think that in Atlanta we have these wonderful resources at our fingertips, but sometimes they're very disjointed and not all connected. And we have this unique ability at Nuts and Berries to really be able to partner and put our money where our mouth is. We talk about really supporting local, but it really is my passion to take small business owners and, quite frankly, small women-owned businesses, because I think we all need to stick together. And so what would you say if you had like a piece of advice for an aspiring entrepreneur, somebody coming into the plant space? Because I think we're going to see a ton of people coming into this kind of coming onto this plant-based movement that we're seeing in the world. Like, what would your advice be for them?
Yeah, I would definitely give the advice of it's okay to take breaks, just don't give up. I've seen a couple of food makers come and go, and I don't think it's just because of the pandemic. I think it can be also because of how rough the food industry is, especially right now economically. So definitely don't be afraid to take a break if you need it. And also don't get into the game of comparison. It's really hard to like look at other people and compare yourself to them, even if it's, you know, limiting yourself to like social media and stuff like that. That's fine. But, you know, you have your own path, you have your own, you know, journey that you want to explore when it comes to creating your business. And remember that. So you never know what's happening with other people's lives. Don't get into the game of comparison.
That's great. That's really great advice. So what, do you have any questions for me at Nuts and Berries, or, you know, I might have one or two more questions for you, but do you have any questions for me at Nuts and Berries, or anything like you want to know about Nuts and Berries?
So I think this is a very fascinating, I don't know if it's a project, but it's definitely a passion you have for helping small businesses. But what does the future of Nuts and Berries look like right now for you?
Yes, so we are in the early stages of positioning our company as one of the only health food stores in the city that you can be guaranteed to walk into and not have to worry about vetting your own GMOs. So we can proudly say that we do not carry products that contain GMOs. And we're in, you know, the laws in our country have been changing. And part of what I'm working on is a consumer education program where I can start to kind of take some of the fear out of the concept of a genetically modified organism, but more importantly to the law changed in 2022. So in January of 2022, companies that contained any type of genetically modified organism had to put a new label on their product, bioengineered. And you'll see it if you go to the conventional grocery store, and the cereal aisle is the easiest way to find it. You know, any box of, you know, General Mills products, and you're very likely to see it unless you see the non-GMO Project verified butterfly or the USDA certified organic symbol. But for so many small businesses, those labels are expensive. You know, that's a giant influx. And so what I would like to eventually be able to do is work on a quarterly, but potentially it'll start on a yearly basis to help fund small manufacturers that want to be able to get into one of those labels, you know, that are doing the work already, but really can't afford that label. And so we can use that. You know, we have this platform at Nuts and Berries where we have a bunch of people that shop at our store, you know, and they care. They're like, really care about local and the concept of our community and building our community. And so I like to leverage that when I can to help other people. I think that that's sort of my job is, you know, I've been blessed with this, you know, business that can do good in the world, not just make enough money to pay my employees, but I can do good in the world. And I think that when you get that gift, that you should utilize that gift in every chance you have. And so my goal is utilizing that to both educate the consumer and then elevate the local people who have this passion for, you know, for clean food and for, you know, quality ingredients, and then be able to elevate their communities. And so that's, you know, my first step is sort of this interview series. I'm doing, you know, I'm trying to do like 2 or 3 interviews every single week from now until the end of February for, you know, Black History Month. And so far I've gotten like some really good inspiration out of it. And so the more I talk to you guys, the more that I can kind of come up with some of these ideas, and we can all collaborate together. So at the end of this, I'm going to have like a fun little party, because I like to have parties. We're going to have a party at Nuts and Berries and invite all of us out together.
That's awesome.
You know, share our love, and maybe we can all cross promote each other and maybe collaborate and do some fun things like that. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. No, that sounds exciting.
yeah, it does. And I'm really excited about it. We've had a couple of hard years in retail and in food production and in our country, and well, I guess in the world. But I think that you know, my message is one of hope. I think that there's a lot of really good things that we can do in the world, in spite of the fact that there are some bad things in the world. And I want to be part of the good and the hopeful side of it. So I'm looking partner with you guys for that reason, really. What else would you like to share about Eat Unrestricted? Anything fun coming that you know of, like any new events, or where are you going to be, or, other than on the shelf at Nuts and Berries?
Yeah, so we're definitely planning to do more in-person events this year, not only at farmers markets, but hopefully partner with the retail locations that we're in and do some more demos, get the information out there, meet the people who are trying our products, and yeah, just hearing the feedback from them. We're definitely planning to scale. What does that look like right now for us? Well, we're looking for co-packers. So if you know anyone that would be a good recommendation for us, or even if you know someone that knows someone,
Yeah.
That would be greatly appreciated. But we're definitely focusing on getting our foundation good. And then after the co-packer, I think we're also going to make our products shelf stable. So that's going to be exciting. And yeah, it's just going to be pretty much connecting with people and just scaling from there. And that's our main focus this year, and also networking. So I'm definitely planning to be at the event.
Well, good, for sure. We'll be doing some fun networking in the coming months. So, well, amazing, Dianna. Thank you so much, and I look forward to kind of seeing how this goes on our social media and in the coming months, and then all through the month of February, we're going to have a bunch of fun things that we're doing in the store for the community and to be able to promote your brand. And so, I really appreciate your time today.
You're appreciated as well. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, we'll talk soon. Thanks.
Bye.